how to analyze the strength in a particular sector or in a particular stock, right? And how we can make use of indicator which helps us to understand whether the strength is weakening or whether the strength is becoming more stronger or not. We will assess. And one of the most important fact that everyone should understand is all the indicators are pure mathematics, right? So there is some kind of a logical reasoning and math involved in every indicator. For example, today we'll discuss about EMA, exponential moving average. So we have simple moving average, we have weighted moving average, we have exponential moving average. Now all these indicators, they just track the closing prices of the stock, and based on the closing price, an average line, a moving average line will be drawn, right? A simple moving average means connecting the closing prices of the last couple of days, an average line will be drawn. Exponential moving average means whatever is the closing price of X number of periods or X number of days, X number of weeks or X number of months, an average line will be drawn and more weightage will be given to the latest closing price. That is called as exponential moving average. Now let's say, sir, on a short term, right, on a daily time period, I'm looking at a 21 days EMA, which means last 21 days, right? It checks the price and then exponentially moving average line will be drawn and more weightage will be given to the recent closing prices of the stock. Now, if you look at the present market scenario, where we see a very good euphoria in the market, right? A very good up move has happened in many of the sectors, many of the stocks, even broader index also has moved well, right? So 21 days index is something we look at a short term strength analysis, right? Short term strength analysis. For example, let me share my screen and let's discuss the same with our benchmark, right? Which is Nifty 50 or even Nifty 500, right? So let me load Nifty 50 here. So Nifty 50 is nothing but it tracks the top 50 companies which are listed in NSE based on the market capitalization, right? The top 50 market capitalization. Sir, I wanted to look at a broader market, right? The overall market. You can even go for Nifty 500, which comprises of the very, very broad index of 500 stocks. Okay. So here, yes, I've been looking at market. Nifty 50 has been in a very clean bull move from almost around October. And even on a weekly chart, if you see, a very good strength has been accumulating, right? Now, in order to assess the short-term strength in a market, I'll go to indicators and we'll go to technicals and I'll be loading a EMA, right? Which is your moving average exponential, your exponential moving average, right? Yeah, I'll just load a EMA. And here is the period 21 days EMA, right? 21 days EMA, which means I'm looking at the last 21 days strength, last closing prices, the last 21 days is the period I've taken for a short term. Now, if you see Nifty closing below EMA 21 is not a very good sign. It reflects that the market is losing, right? Or the market is becoming weak, right? The market is becoming weak. And if you have been observing almost from November, 6th November 23, it's above your 21 days EMA. Even we saw a decline on 17th Jan, right? Wherein it did not breach. But yes, yesterday's move below it is not a very good closing. So what this signifies, as the broader index is below 21 days EMA, we should be little bit cautious. Any position we take should be with a smaller proportion, and even into selected stocks or even selected sectors where there is strength, right? If we are entering into stocks or even if we are entering into specific sectors, whichever are stronger stocks or stronger sectors, we selectively enter. Sir, how do we assess whether they are stronger or not? Right? Based on the quarterly earnings. And if you see, majority of the companies Q3 earnings have been decent. But yes, many of the stocks have been weaker yesterday because of a very strong bull run, and many of the companies profit booking is happening, right? Profit booking is happening. Now, sir, yes, EMA 21 is something where I'm able to see whether the weakness is there. What would be the next levels, right? See, when a market is falling, I have always been discussing one thing, right? Two golden principles in stock market investing. Rule number one, until and unless your exit is triggered, do not prematurely exit out of the stocks just by a percentage of fall in the stocks. If your exit is triggered, then only you should exit, else prematurely exiting does not make sense. Second, when an exit is triggered, right, when your system or when your process says when your exit is triggered, don't hold on for that stock, don't carry your losses for a very, very longer period, right? So these are some of the two golden principles. And yes, a falling market like yesterday, it's very, very difficult for you to assess those kind of a factors. But yes, right now, as Nifty is below 21 days EMA, let's see for the follow through days also, and accordingly we can take a decision, but we will be a little bit slow. Here, let me load again EMA, right? Exponential Moving Average. And now, what I'll be doing, I'll be looking at 50 days EMA, right? 50 days Exponential Moving Average. And in style, I'll be changing the color to, let's say, red, right? Let's say red. So yes, first we have looked at EMA 21 days, which reflects, right? Which reflects 21 days Exponential Moving Average closing price strength, where more weightage is given to the latest closing prices. Second, 50 days, right? 50 days. So right now, from the present levels, if you see, if Nifty is falling below your 21,000 levels, right? Yeah, 21,000 levels, 21,010 or even 21,000 levels, it breaches below EMA 50, right? That again reflects it is entering into a weaker zone, or it is becoming bearish in nature, right? It is becoming bearish in nature. So by following indicators, it will give you a objective way of investing rather than taking subjective decisions, right? Rather than taking subjective decisions. And second part of it, if you look at just the EMA 21, even during this period, we could be a little bit slow at this time. And again, when it has breached above EMA 21, the strength has been accumulating. And even right now, if Nifty is crossing above your 21,500 levels, which is your EMA 21, and also the best part is it's a good resistance zone also, right? Yes, this particular blue line, this is around 21,500, your EMA 21. Apart from that, on EMA 21, there is a strong resistance zone also, right? Once Nifty 50 is able to cross 21,500, it's a good pullover by the market, right? It's a good pullover by the market, right? So EMA is to signify this, right? Is to signify the importance of where the market is headed, or we'll get an objective way of looking at things, right? So EMA 21 and EMA 50. Now, very, very important factor, right? Very important factor. I want every one of you to note down is when we are looking at 21, 50, or even next 100 like that, one factor which is something you should not miss is exponential moving average period 200. What does this signify? This is a Lakshman Rekha, right? This is a Lakshman Rekha. Any stock or even any sector which has been below EMA 200 and you are trying to accumulate more, that's the one of the error you are doing in your portfolio, which means the last 200 days, if the stock is very weak or exhibiting weakness, and if you are trying to enter there expecting with the hope that it will revive, not a good decision. At least wait for the stock to move above your EMA 200. What is one of the perfect example? HDFC Bank, right? Yeah. If you see HDFC Bank, yes, couple of days before, we saw a sudden dip on 17th January, right? 17th January. Yes, there is no big issue with HDFC. And even one of the prime reason here of this gap down on 17th Jan is because of quarterly earnings. And if you ask me, quarterly earnings is not pathetic in HDFC Bank to fall by 8%. No, it's not pathetic, right? It's not that it has met the expectation, and even because of merger between HDFC and HDFC Bank, the lot of base factors will be changing, right? Earlier it is only HDFC Bank, whatever numbers they have announced, it will be very good. Now the merger of HDFC, the base factors will be changing, right? So it's not pathetic. But apart from you taking your own call or taking certain things which are not in your control, follow a system or follow a process. What did we discuss couple of minutes before? Any stock which is trading below EMA 200, do not enter, because it has breached my Lakshman Rekha. I'll be out of it, or I'll be very careful, right? If you have just followed that simple rule, right? If you have just followed that simple rule, even from 17th Jan, you will not be, right? You will not be able to see this kind of a downturn, right? Yeah. If you have just followed, yes, on 17th, reaching below 200 days EMA, not good. That's the inference you should get. Second, the most, I would say, the pathetic situation, as I always say, never catch a falling knife, or never be there in a stock where it is falling, expecting that it will bounce back. Always enter in strength. You take a call when you're traveling in a sea on a boat, right? Yeah. And would it be easier for you to travel in the direction of wind, or would you go against the wind? There you get your answer, right? So whoever, sir, yes, HDFC Bank is a very strong company. I know it will bounce back after 3 years or after 5 years. That's the fact. It will bounce back. It's a giant. An elephant can't be beaten down very easily. Maybe it will become little weak, but it does not mean you add more load to a weak elephant, right? So during this fall, when it has been below 200 days EMA, if you have added, that's wrong. And for all of them who have added below the 200 days EMA, right, this would be the impact. Almost 11% further fall from that period, right? So the learning is, and even, yes, history repeats. Earlier also, HDFC Bank was from October 22 to almost September 23, right? October 22 to September 23, almost 1 year. It has been about 200 days. It's fine, right? Whether you enter, whether you exit, fine. But in October, right, September 23, when it has been below EMA 200, not to add, right? At least wait for the stock to move above EMA 200. It's okay. Sir, certain move, I'm unable to enter or I'm losing this particular profits. It's okay. But always be in the stocks which are above EMA 200 on a daily time frame, which means last 200 days strength we are looking at. Right? Last 200 days strength we are looking at. And even any company. Sir, I have been observing a few stocks on defense or few stocks on railways, few stocks on public sector unit banks, right? Wherein if the trend is becoming a little weak or if it is falling below EMA 21, right? So do your partial profit booking. And when the overall market is also below EMA 21, right? If it is below EMA 21, be a little bit more cautious. So I hope everyone loved this discussion on EMA and you load more charts, you load more indicators, it'll be helping you out, right? EMA 21, EMA 50, EMA 100 will let you know what has been the strength, whether it is a weakening strength or whether it is an increasing strength. EMA 200 is our Lakshman Rekha. Be very, very careful for the companies which are below it. Don't do bottom fishing. Let it again revive. Anyone who is targeting, sir, I want to enter at the lowest price, I wanted to exit at the highest price, you are just wasting your energy, right? No one can spot or no one can identify the exact high and exact low, right? Don't waste your time in spotting those points. So if you have loved this discussion, give me a love below.